What's good? What's good? What's good, fans? I want to thank you guys for joining another fantastic episode of the Voice of the Fans podcast. You got, I'm down here in SoCal. Let me take this off, Clevon. I don't want to hurt nobody's eyes with this green and yellow. How you doing, big dog?
Doing fantastic, Cam, and you can keep that on. It's up to you, man. You repping 206, so we appreciate it.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Like I say, thank you for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. This is week 138, Clevon. We got a lot to talk about this week, man. There's a lot going down. We got Urban Meyer waffling on his boy Tim Tebow. We got the NFL schedule release. We got the NBA season winding down. Some guys are trying to maneuver their way in and around the play-in tournament. I wonder who that could be. Oh, man, we got the Tokyo Olympics. We got some topics, Clevon. We got to talk about the Tokyo Olympics, man. And a little off script. Did you get the link I sent you? I sent you the link today. Obviously, I sent you the script, but I sent you another link. Did you get a chance to look at that?
I did.
Okay, we're going to talk about that too. The link is regarding college players in the state of Georgia, and there's 11 other states. So we're gonna take a look at that, man. It's really peculiar how they're trying to move down there in the South. But as I say, we got a lot of things we're gonna talk about today. This is the Voice of the Fans podcast, Clevon. Get comfortable and let's do this, fans. Also, cheers to y'all. This week, each and every week, as we do, Mr. Clevon. Before we can get started with our numbers, want to give a shout out to all our fans that's listening. However you're listening, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, rate and review the show. If you will, let us know how you think we're doing. All feedback is good feedback, so we appreciate you guys giving the feedback that you can. Want to give a shout out to our guys from HNB Media doing their thing over there. HNB Media TV, make sure you check them out for a lot of exclusive content. They got Baron Davis podcast they're working on. They got WNBA podcast that they're working on. They got a lot of basketball content, NBA content, and abroad. So make sure you guys check them out for the exclusive basketball content. The guys from HNB Media TV, they're on YouTube. Make sure you check them guys out and tell them I sent you. Clevon, today, May 12th, 2021, week 138. We're going to talk about that number 12. When you think of the number 12, who wore that number best or who come to your mind first? I'll give you a couple guys that come to my mind first. There's that point guard out of Spokane, Washington. Played a lot of years for the Utah Jazz. You know, for a long time, I'd argue he was the best point guard in the game. A long time, I'd argue that. Number 12, John Stockton. Who come in your mind when you think of the number 12, Chief?
You know, because I am up here in the 206, Cam, and I am a devout Seahawk fan. Obviously, the 12 being retired for the fans. The fans, the 12s come to mind first. Who wore it best, or who wears it best, I should say, because he's still wearing it, is the Super Bowl champion quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
My ears are hurting. I can't hear
by the name of Tom Brady, seven-time
gracious.
Super Bowl champion. I don't think there's much question to that one, Cam.
Who was coach? Who was coach during most of those Super Bowls? Just answer that question for me. Who was the head coach?
Charlie Weiss did some offensive coordinating. Josh McDaniels
No, I said head coach.
Offensive coordinating.
Head coach.
Bruce Arians did a great job. They meshed very well together this year.
See how you doing? Yeah.
For his most recent Super Bowl.
I see how you're avoiding the question. I said most of those Super Bowls. I was very specific when I said who was the head coach during most of those Super Bowl runs. And that'd be
most of those head coach was Bill Belichick.
Yeah, okay. There you go. So credit number 12. Credit Bill Belichick for all those Super Bowls. Just do that. And we'll just keep it nice and simple for you. When you think of the number 38, this is a little tougher list to go by. But when you think of number 38, who comes to your mind first?
Nobody really comes to mind readily, Cam. 38 is kind of a weird number, but, kind of the more research that I did with regards to it, I think Kurt Schilling Being
Kirk
a
Cousins?
three-time World Series champion, I think he probably wore it the best.
And I suppose you don't know anything about George Rodgers, right? You don't know anything about that guy.
Oh no, I do know a little bit about him. He was a great running back at the University of Georgia and had about a 4-year career in the NFL. He was a good dude.
Yeah. So back to that number 12. I was at the Kingdom. See that's how long ago this was. When they played in the AFC East, a lot of you Seahawks fans don't remember when they were actually in the AFC West. I mean, but I was at the Kingdom Fan Appreciation Day when they first introduced the number 12 as being the number for the fans. Got a signed sweatshirt, number 12, signed by Steve Largent and Dave Craig. Was actually on the court, on the Sonics court, as they had fan appreciation day. We had to be there at 10 because the doors open at 10. So we were there like 9:30, and the doors open. They just go first went to your seats. You just go get your seat. So they just opened the gates, and it was probably 500 of us rushing to get to that first row. And of course, your boy, made it to first there to the front row. And then they start calling fans up. It was pretty cool. I got the chance to go down there on at the Kingdom Fan Appreciation. I think it was like 84, 85 then. But yeah, the number 12 was big time. And then they announced that's when they announced that number 12 would be the number for the fans. So kudos to you, Hawks fans, back in the day. Clevon, we talking about the fan base and things that's going on in football and fan appreciation time. What's going on there in Jacksonville? They trying early for some fan appreciation love, ain't they? They bring the hometown kid, hometown hero back to town. We talked a little bit about it last week. This week, apparently, it was more concrete. But then I hear your boy Urban Meyer waffling like, I didn't look at him. I wasn't at the workouts. Everybody just telling me how good he looked. Now, come on, Urban. We're gonna get to this question a little bit later, but fans, don't put this in your head. Urban smokescreen. He's saying, what did that say about Urban if he's not going to evaluate the talent that's joining the team? That's first and foremost. But what do you think about this partnership and the relationship with Tim Tebow and Urban Meyer? Are they taking jobs away from? Is this taking jobs away from players that have earned this spot in the rotation? I'm not going to get in the Kaepernick thing. I think the Kaepernick, it's easy to talk about that, but it's kind of a washed out situation where Kaepernick can't play the game. He can't play the game today. I wouldn't expect much production from him today, number one. And then number two, I mean, he is trying to go to tight end and not quarterback. What's your thoughts on this situation here?
Well, I think you should be a little bit concerned that Urban Meyer seems to be over his head a little bit. He tends to make decisions where he thinks there's not going to be any backlash to it because he is the authoritarian there, and that's just not the way the NFL works. So we saw it with him trying to hire the strengths coach that was fired for abuse earlier.
Good call.
He quickly had to backtrack on that one. He thought he was just bringing his boy in, giving him a chance to kind of see if he can make an NFL roster, and he'd give him every opportunity to flourish. And you're my guy. I've always supported you. You've always been a good person. So he thought he was just gonna do his boy a solid, but that's just not, again, how the NFL works, and people take offense to that. I mean, he was able to usurp the line by quite a bit. So. There are definitely some other players that could have had an opportunity to get that spot that may not get that spot now because it's, pretty much handpicked and reserved for Tebow, unless something unfortunate happens or he just can't play the position. I think it just goes to show that Urban Meyer is not ready for all of the backlash that he's going to face with some of the decisions that he makes. And this is not Ohio State. This is not Utah. This is not the University of Florida. Where he is the end all be all. I mean, this is the NFL, and he has to be a little bit more accountable.
So I believe, and let me get to this, fans. I believe Clevon has a moratorium on the amount of catches that Tebow is going to make this season. And I want to know, do you even think he's going to make the squad to get on the list? I think what you say, 12 catches.
Oh, I think he will definitely make the squad. Yeah.
There's no way he gets cut.
If he can actually catch and play the position, no, there's no way he gets cut.
So you see him finishing out the season. That's without saying.
If Urban Meyer has anything to say about it, yes. And I know that he's facing a little bit of backlash, so he's, backtracking a little bit. But no, I think that Tim Tebow is going to be on the squad, barring injury, or he just simply is, bitten off a little bit more than he can chew and can't play the position. But I think that he feels comfortable in what it is that he's attempting to do. And I think Urban Meyer is going to give him every opportunity to succeed.
So here I got to hear fans. Clevon says Tebow's with the Jags all season, and he will have 23 catches this season, minimum 23 catches this season. Those are Clevon's words right there. So he can't shy away from some of this stuff he'd be talking. But because I got it on note, I got the notes, big guy.
The over-under is 23. Yeah.
Over under 23. And that's 2 catches a game. A little less than 2 catches a game. I might lean to. I'm not sure he's gonna make the squad. To be honest with you, I'm not sure he's gonna make the squad. I'm not ready to say definitively whether he will or won't here in May 12th. But I'm not sure. Right as of this moment, I'm not sure he's gonna make the full time. What is it gonna be? The 65-man roster. Talk to me about this Aaron Rodgers saga. What would you do? What do we do here now? Aaron Rodgers, still we haven't heard from Aaron Rodgers. Kind of like, unlike Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers is not coming to this mic anytime soon, and we haven't watched the Jeopardy shows to see whether he says he's going to stay in Southern California or Northern California, or he's heading back to Wisconsin. We don't know what he's doing right there. For whatever reasons, he's keeping it close to his vest. What do you think about the Aaron Rodgers situation? And obviously, you have a quarterback who hasn't missed a game in 9 seasons, so you don't know what the pain is like. Looking for a quarterback, searching for a quarterback. Let me say you don't know what it is. You haven't
not in the past
there.
9 seasons, Cam.
You haven't been there in a while. So when I ask you, would you make a move for the quarterback? You're going to come from a position of not quite. You don't understand what a lot of NFL fans might be thinking. So how do you see the saga ending?
It's hard to say, Cam. I don't see it ending with Aaron Rodgers playing in Green Bay. I don't know what the scenario would be with regards to him going somewhere else, but I think that he's burned too many bridges there, and there's too many hurt feelings, and it's definitely time for him to move on. And he's made his point very clear that he no longer wants to be there, and something has to be done about that. You can't just let the NFL MVP just sit around. But at the same time, how can you possibly get market value for the NFL MVP at 38, 39 years old? So, everyone's in a tough predicament here, but do I see him playing for the Green Bay Packers next year? Not really. I would have to say no.
So there's a couple teams that's been rumored to have some interest in him. Not sure if you can figure out what these teams are, but there's a team in Denver, Colorado that they don't have anybody better than him. There's nobody really in the pipeline who has enough promise that you would ignore the opportunity to play or bring in a guy like Aaron Rodgers. All of his self-centeredness involved, or whatever the case may be. If you're the Denver Broncos, John Elway, now you finally see a quarterback that has proven it, and now you're not speculating how good this guy can be. Do you make a move for Aaron Rodgers?
I wouldn't, just because I'm not sure how much Aaron Rodgers has left in the tank. When John Elway went and got Peyton Manning, he knew he had 5 years. I don't
Come
know that
on,
if
did
he
you
makes.
really? He took Peyton
He knew he
Manning
had
off of
5 years. He knew
he took Peyton
he felt
Peyton Manning.
confident that
Peyton Manning
he
didn't play
felt
5 years.
confident Peyton
He
could
didn't
give
play
him
5 years.
five
By the way,
years.
he played 3 years, and that last year was kind of a dud, if you will, wasn't it? So really, you got 2 years out of Peyton Manning. Am I
You got the
correct?
5 years and you got the MVP. So what I'm saying here is that I don't think that Aaron Rodgers can give him 5 years, and I think he would have to give up at least 3 first-round picks.
Why do
Don't
you
know
have
if
to
it's
give up?
worth it.
No, I don't know if you're giving up three. If you need to give up 3 first-round picks for an aging quarterback, as you described, why wouldn't you have more confidence in Aaron Rodgers, who coming off an MVP season, versus Peyton Manning, who came off a neck surgery?
I definitely would, but what I was saying is that Peyton Manning was going to give them the 5 years, and I don't think Aaron Rodgers has 5 years.
Did Peyton give him 5 years? I don't know that Peyton gave him 5 years. Did he give him 5?
The
They
last
went
one,
to
like
the
you said, it was a little sketchy, but he was there.
Go ahead, talk to the people, man. Let me look this up. I don't know that he
So
gave him
Aaron
5 years.
Rodgers, on the flip side, it's like, what is it that you're leaving and where is it that you're going? And he doesn't have, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe Aaron Rodgers has a no trade clause in his contract. If he does, then he can kind of dictate where he's going to go. If he doesn't, he just has to go to whoever has the most assets. And who knows if that's going to be a favorable situation for him, adverse to what he's already playing with. I mean, he's playing with Aaron Jones, he's playing with Devontae Adams, he's playing with a great offensive line. Defense, of course, a little so-so, but at the same time, he's got enough, offensive weapons around him to do some things. What does the team have to give up that he's going to, and what is the environment and the situation around him? I don't know. It would be hard to find a situation that is as favorable as Green Bay right now.
Peyton Manning gave him 4 years. 13-3, 13-3, 12-4, and then 7-2. That's what Peyton Manning gave the Broncos.
How many MVPs in that little run there that you're talking about?
That was one MVP and
Okay.
two and a Super Bowl berth, 2 Super Bowl berths.
And how many times did he throw for over 50 touchdowns?
It was gone now. Probably once. Probably once. By the way.
Well, I know for a fact because I had him on my fantasy team. He threw for 55 touchdowns.
Probably one time.
Okay.
One of those
and the other seasons, and this is probably the statistically probably the greatest 4-year run in Bronco history, right? I mean, 2 Super Bowls.
I mean,
NFL MVP. You see where I'm going with this, Cam? Anyways, let me backtrack that a little bit. Let's stay on subject, man.
Yeah.
I don't want you to get all upset. Number 30. You know what I'm talking about. But let's get back on subject here.
Oh yeah, you want to get away from that topic real quick. I understand why you want to back away from that comment very quickly.
Let's get off that subject real quick. Poor number 30 comes looking for me. But no, I think that Aaron Rodgers is in the best situation he can be in from a football perspective as far as winning games, but clearly he's not happy there. And someone is going to make the, a deal for him. I just don't think that, Denver is the best place for him.
Okay, to answer your question, 37, 55, and 39. So yeah, you lucked up and you had a heck of a. Hopefully, you won a championship with the 39 with that lucky pickup thing.
Was a great season.
Hopefully, you won the championship. So, okay, Denver is one location, and I say if you're Denver, you have to be more confident in taking the guy coming off his MVP career versus a guy coming off of a 4 surgery neck fusion offseason in Peyton Manning. Now they were desperate. They did it. It worked well for them. I would think that we know Elway has issues identifying what a true quarterback is and how they can perform on the field. So getting a guy who coming off his MVP season, you make that move. There's another team in South Beach that was in the Deshaun Watson conversation until, Deshaun couldn't find his way out of a masseuse across the country. And to your point, now here's where it's real critical. What do you give up for this guy? Because you just drafted a guy number 5. Is he better than Aaron Rodgers? Absolutely not. Does he have the potential to be Aaron Rodgers? I don't know anybody who's predicting his potential to be Aaron Rodgers. I don't know anybody in their right mind. Maybe his mom and dad, and he has some brothers. He has some brothers, so maybe his mom and dad and the brothers are predicting he'll be in the class of Aaron Rodgers. But any football mind, I don't know anybody predicting he'll be in that class. So do you give up 2 twos or excuse me 2 number ones and this young rookie for a 4-year stint, a 4-year burst of what Aaron Rodgers could do? Because you're only going to get a 4-year burst, and then after that, in 4 to 5 years, you're looking for that replacement. And then that's a conversation that you'd have to have with Aaron Rodgers. Hey, look, we're welcoming you into town, but after a couple of years, we're going to be looking for your replacement. Are you okay with that, Aaron? I mean, we have to make that clear, so he knows that when somebody comes in the back door and we ask you to talk to him a little bit, that he didn't get all in his feelings. I give up 2 number ones for Aaron Rodgers. And all right, now we got talent. We don't have a running back, Aaron, but that means you play without a running back before, so. Come in here. Are you want to come do your thing in the heat and humidity of South Beach, or are you really trying to get to San Francisco or Oakland and play so you're closer to home and closer to the new fiance and what? That's a conversation we'd have to have. But I would give up 2 number ones for 2022, 2023. I give up 2, considering we have 2 2 number 1 draft picks in the next 3 rounds, I believe. I comfortably give up 2 number ones. What's your thoughts on that, Clevon?
Couple things. The Oakland move is now Vegas. If he wanted to go there,
Vegas,
he would like to go to the Bay Area, but they just drafted a quarterback with the number 3 pick in the draft. So
he's not going to San Francisco.
So he's not going there. So the question is, if I was the Dolphins, would I do that? And the answer is absolutely not. When you were thinking about it before, you were thinking about Deshaun Watson, who is 13 years younger than
That's
Aaron
3.
Rodgers.
That was 3. Give up 2. I give up 2, not 3.
At any rate, as I was saying, yeah, you would make that trade for Deshaun and the young quarterback, but not for Aaron Rodgers, because you're basically getting a glorified Ryan Fitzpatrick at that rate, right? Because you know what you're getting. You're going to get a whole bunch of touchdowns.
Hold on.
What I'm saying? You're going to get a gunslinger, but he's only going to be around for maybe 2 to 3 more seasons.
Hold on. Did you just compare the NFL MVP to Ryan Fitzpatrick? Is that what you just did?
Glorified on steroids.
Is that what you just did?
He's somebody that's going to throw the ball around a lot. He's going to put up huge numbers, but he's only going to be there for a finite amount of time. And you'll be scrambling to try and find another quarterback. So you're already tanked for Tua. You might as well keep him and see what he's all about. If you were going to trade him, you trade him for somebody that's 25 years old who's already proven he's super filthy on the field. Yeah, you do that, but it's a 13-year difference, Cam. It's 13 years.
So let me get this straight. You just told me you were okay with trading for a quarterback who had neck fusion.
That's a whole other different scenario, Cam.
You were just okay trading for a quarterback.
This is not an apples to apples comparison.
Why not? You just told me you're okay with trading for a quarterback who had neck fusion, but you don't want to trade for an NFL MVP. What are you talking about? The quarterback he's replacing is nowhere on the level. It's not even. There's no equality there. It's not even worth talking about.
But we don't know what Tua's ceiling is.
We know what it's Tua. You can stop all the games. You know what Tua is. Steven Taylor, Steven down in South Beach. He knows what Tua is. If we can get Aaron Rodgers, and obviously we want Deshaun Watson. If we can go to Goodell and say, "Yo, what's the deal, Goodell? What's the deal? What are you going to do with this guy? Is he going to be on the commissioner's exempt list? Is he going to be able to play this season?" What's obviously we'll give 3 number ones for Deshaun without question. If we can't do that, and we can give up 2 for the league's MVP? Come on, that's what I question. I don't know. What are you talking about? You just compared the guy to
if it's
you
just
did,
the two first round picks, but why wouldn't Green Bay want? So you're saying that because they have Jordan Love and they have their quarterback of the future, that you think that the 2 first round picks is enough? No, it's gonna have to be the 3 first round.
no. They're not getting 3. They're not getting 3 from anybody. They're not getting
They
three
would
from
be
anybody.
getting. Okay. All right.
They're not getting 3 from anybody. The guy just said he doesn't want to play with you guys. We're doing we might be able to get away with 1 and a 3. And to be honest with you, we 1 and a 3 next year. We want to push that because the guy already said he doesn't want to play with you guys. You guys are dealing with a pile of shit right now. Instead, you guys got shit all up in your popcorn right now. And to clear that out, here we'll give you a 1 and a 3, and now you guys can just go on about your business. Start your succession planning right now. So
Cam,
to be honest with you,
Cam, to be perfectly honest with you, I think if just a 1 and a 3 will get it done. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of teams, a whole bunch of other suitors other than just the Miami Dolphins that would do.
but Miami, South Beach. You've been down there. You've been down there.
Oh man, I mean, sure. The whole I have been down there, and it's a fantastic time. However, Aaron Rodgers, planning his wedding and all that kind of stuff, and a little bit, longer in the tooth from an NFL football career perspective, and has aspirations of being the Jeopardy host. 305 may not necessarily have all of the amenities that would entice someone like an Aaron Rodgers to come there. Other teams, with better coaching, better talent. If it's first and a third is all it takes, hey. And by the way, yes, there are teams with better coaching and talent than the Miami Dolphins.
So what? Now you finally are coming to agreement off the topic here in May 2021. Now you're finally questioning the coaching of Flores and the crew. Interesting. I'm gonna just fans hold that right now. Let's just put a pin in that conversation right there, and we're gonna move on. Clevon, you stepped in it. You stepped in it right there, and you did right there. We gonna put a pin in that one and come back to that topic. Another kind of off-season conversation. What should the Browns do with Odell Beckham? Why don't the Seahawks and Snyder go get Odell? They need a wide receiver. They can use a third wide receiver. Why don't the Seahawks just go get Odell?
No, Odell stays in Cleveland, and hopefully he can resurrect his career there. He has no trade value, so no one really wants him. He hasn't really had a productive season in quite some time. So yeah, we'll just see what the Cleveland Browns can do with him.
Seems like a great time to go get him. If he has no trade value, you can get him for a 2.
We don't need it. We just drafted a receiver. Thanks for asking. We're gonna see how he plays himself out.
Who?
Odell Beckham is coming off of anterior cruciate ligament surgery, so we don't really actually know what he has left in the tank. So we have to see what training camp looks like before we can even assess what we would give up for him.
You say Cleveland should keep him? I think Cleveland doesn't.
Cleveland should keep him. Nobody wants him right now.
I think
Who wants him?
I'm shopping.
There's no trade value whatsoever.
I'm shopping. I'm trying to get a number 2, number 3, maybe a
no
2,
number
maybe
twos,
2, maybe
no 3s,
maybe
nope.
2, maybe
coming
a 2
off
and a 3.
ACL surgery. No,
I mean he has a lot of.
You don't know what he is.
He still has a lot of hype. A lot of hype.
You don't know what he is.
No, but you can sell the hype. You can send them.
No, these are football people. These are football people.
Giants tape. Sending that tape against the Cowboys.
The one-handed catches and whatnot.
Send them that tape, man.
Those are time stamps, Cam. They know when that happened. Yeah.
I'm just saying, if I'm Cleveland, they don't need him. He played what 4 games with them last season. Baker Mayfield, his season.
And you can always use a player like Odell Beckham Jr. if it doesn't cost you anything.
That's what I'm saying. Seattle should go for him.
No, we're set at receiver. Thanks.
You guys got the slowest receiver in the Olympics. In the Olympics sprint contest last week. You got the slowest receiver. You got Pocket Rocket, Tyler Lockett, who, I mean, if you don't pay him, you guys just
already paid him. We tightened him up. We took care of him. Thanks for asking, Cam.
So I mean, you could use a number 3.
No,
Because
we're okay. We
you
don't
guys
need
know
him.
you don't do well with
We don't need him.
drafting. You don't do well
But
with
I hear he
free.
likes that really warm weather in those Latina women. So maybe the 305. I don't know. Put him
No,
next to Waddle. Ooh, and Tua. Ooh, just
I
think
mean,
about it, Cam. Look at you.
no,
Having visions of grandeur over there, aren't you?
hey, Waddle
And
is going
all
to
it'll
be.
take is a 4th-round pick.
I'm
Go
not
ahead
so
and get
sure.
it. Go ahead and get it.
I'm not so sure how happy Waddle is to be reunited with Tua. I'm not really so sure how happy he is, because did you see his face on draft day? I
Real
mean,
serious.
a lot of people
Real seriousness.
liken that to him just being focused and determined to get where he was going to be, but some of that had some concerns, like this guy again. Like I'm not happy. I don't know, and I'm gonna have to get down there and talk to him, or send some feelers in the air to find out what that relationship and the communication was like. I haven't heard anybody doing any route running. I haven't heard anything about the practice field. They got a brand new practice facility
Oh,
right next
Waddle
to.
started route running like 2 hours after the draft.
Yeah, but who's throwing to him?
He
Is
already
it?
started.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Who's throwing to him? I haven't seen any clips. I haven't heard any conversations. I haven't seen these guys out to dinner. My conversation, my
It was Alabama's backup. Yeah, he was throwing
yeah.
them passes.
See,
He's not ready
that's
for
what I'm saying.
Tua just yet because it's not allowed, Cam. It's against the rules.
Oh, get out of here! And the quarterback from who won the Super Bowl last year was all broke the rules all off season, didn't he?
Well, I mean,
Goodell had
when
to
you
send
got 6, 7 rings, that's a whole
Goodell
other
had to
thing.
send his Goodell had to send his goons down there. It's like, listen, we told you to stop it once. You guys are still carrying on. They just went. They moved from one beach to the next beach to do some route running and stuff. So we know how you can get away from these rules. But I haven't heard any of that going on. I haven't seen any video clips. I haven't heard of everything's good. I haven't seen any clips of them at Prime 112, just kind of sitting there chopping it up. I haven't seen any of
Well,
this.
I don't know what Tua is doing, but trust me, Jalen Waddle, that's all he's been doing. Yeah, he's ready to step out like that dude.
Unfortunately, he can't do it by himself. He's not the running back that we didn't draft.
As I've said before on the show, you guys don't deserve him.
Like that's something.
You don't
Okay.
deserve him.
So you don't go get Odell Beckham. Interesting that you would say
Nope.
that. Interesting that you would say that. Okay. So the NFL schedule was released this evening, and let's see what we got coming up for week 1. Anything catch your eye?
Oh, nothing too special in week 1. They kind of always throw those games together, and until we kind of get a training camp under our belt, it's kind of hard to say which one of those games is going to be premier. But a few of them are somewhat intriguing.
I mean, Seattle going to Indianapolis last year. Last year, Indianapolis was doing their thing, and Seattle got to travel to Indianapolis to match up with that linebacking core and that defensive core. Are they
Yeah.
able to do that?
It's early. You have to see what the running game looks in training camp, Cam, and how those receivers kind of round into form, and that offensive line that's been refurbished. Let's see how it's really working out.
Yeah, come on,
New
man.
offensive coordinator, so we're implementing a new offensive scheme. It's a little early, Cam. It's a little early.
On, man. Don't talk to me about that running scheme from Seattle or that offensive line, where we know they're using ex defensive ends and.
Do your research, Cam. Do your research. I'm up here in the 206. I'm one of the 12s. I have my finger on the pulse of the Hawks, and that's not what they're doing right now. Okay.
So what's that offensive line look like? Go ahead, tell me. Tell me you're gonna have two running backs rush for 1,000 yards apiece. Tell me that.
It's too early to tell. It's too early to tell all that. I'm not going to prognosticate on that level, Cam. That's kind of high.
Is this Penny's year to perform?
Not sure. Have to see how he looks in training camp. Have to see how healthy he is.
Is this Chris Carson's year to kind of get less than 5 fumbles and over another 1,400 yard season?
Wow, you sure are poking a lot of holes in the Seahawk armor. That's kind of weird.
To me.
They were 12-4 last year with all of the things that you're saying. I mean, they were still 12-4, right?
We know what that's due, and I have no problem saying it. We know what that's a culprit of, and that's because Russell's cooking. And since they took some of the pots and pans away from Russell late in the year,
Okay, what I think I was saying is that the offensive line will be improved, and no, we're not using a bunch of tight ends and defensive tackles to try and play on the offensive line anymore. We're past that experiment,
okay,
and we will see what the running back position has to offer from Carson, Penny, and other free agents. So we'll see how it all unfolds before I make a prediction about Week 1. That's all. It's May.
you being
Still
awful
early.
you being awful uncommittal tonight. The fans want to hear you commit.
How was
The
that?
fans,
How was that uncommittal? It's May the 12th. I don't know what the Seahawks are going to look like. And September the
I thought
9th.
you had.
It's a
I
little too
thought
early for me to say.
see you deceived the fans because the
I
fans believe you
did.
have
That's exactly what I said, Cam.
the
I
fans
said I have
believe you
my
have the
finger on the
pulse.
pulse.
Yeah, so the fans believe you have the knowledge. The fans believe that you
And
can tell them
because
what's
I
up.
have my finger on the pulse, I know that it's way too early to predict something like that.
Oh my goodness, fan non-committal.
Fans
That's what we do.
understand.
That's what
Fans
we've been.
understand me.
Let the fans know where they can find you, man, with the non-committal comments that
At
you're making.
Clevy Wonder on Twitter and Clevon Steele on Instagram.
Non-committal. Hit them
Fans
up, man.
understand me.
Fans let them know
The
that
true 12s understand me.
True
Why would I be
12.
making prognostications on May the 12th? It's way too early for all that.
You can find me What's Good in Sport on Instagram. Or excuse me, What's Good in Sport on Twitter. Voice of Fans on Instagram. And always you can hit the show up. Excuse me, leave your comments. However you listen to the show, whether you're watching the show on YouTube, whether you're watching the show, listening to the show on Spotify, tuned in, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. Make sure you rate, review, hit the subscribe button, and leave your comments. All feedback is good feedback. Let us know what you're thinking. Let Clevon know how non-committal he's being right now. Let Clevon know that they probably should go after Odell Beckham. Let Clevon know that it's not too much to give up two number ones for Aaron Rodgers at this point. He was willing to give up 3 number 1 draft picks for a quarterback who had 4 surgeries and neck fusion, but he don't want to give up 2 number ones for a quarterback coming off of MVP season. Let Cleveland know how much sense that does not make. Okay. Where you think he has a finger on the pulse, maybe he just has the pulse of the Northwest and not the entire league. So we're talking about the entire league and what's going on. Let Cleveland know where he's at, okay, fans? That's what I'm asking you guys to do today. So, Cleveland, the NFL is going back to London. The Jets and the Falcons. The NFL is kind of cold, man. They send them the Jets and the Falcons. That's kind of cold. And then they turn around and send them the Dolphins and the Jaguars. Like, that's kind of funny because neither one of those aren't primetime games here in the States, but it's American football over there. And I can tell you from going over there watching the Raiders and the Seahawks actually a couple years ago, the fans over there, they just had everything USA Sports. There was Bulls jerseys, there were Sonics jerseys, there was Laker jerseys. They had some Seahawks jerseys. Clearly they had some Jaguars or some Raiders jerseys, but there was also Minnesota jerseys. There was Green Bay jerseys. There was a lot. It was just American sports. A festival is what it was. It wasn't Raiders. It wasn't Seahawks. Although there was a lot of Raider fans there, there was a lot of Seahawks fans there. It was just a collage, a group of. If you rooted for an American sports team, you wore their jersey to the game that day. I thought that was kind of funny, but at the same time, they gave it up for the Seahawks. They gave it up for American football. It was kind of cool to see in Germany. We were at how am I having a brain fart at the stadium? Wembley Stadium, awesome stadium where they see, I think 90,000 fans were in the building that day. It was absolutely bananas. We went early enough so we avoided a lot of traffic. Leaving that place was just, again, we were kind of delayed because they had the post game activities, locker room interviews, and all of this you guys can see on YouTube. Locker room interviews with the Seattle Seahawks, locker room interviews with some of the Oakland Raiders. At that time, they were still in Oakland. John Gruden was a part of that. So that delayed. We were there a little bit after, so we didn't hit the mad rush. But even coming out of the stadium an hour and a half after the game, I mean, it was still a party going on in Wembley Stadium, and a lot of pints. They were a lot of pints. They were being had and down in that part of London. So it was kind of cool. But what do you think about the games that the NFL chose to send over to across those seas?
Well, Jacksonville is like their team really. Jacksonville's committed to quite a few games over there, and there was even talk of potentially the Jaguars moving over there and being the first European franchise and all that. So
That can't work.
continuing to send the Jaguars over there is a great idea. Pretty close to England. Considering where the rest of the NFL teams are demographically located. So yeah, that makes sense. That first game you mentioned, that sounded kind of gross. The Jets and the Falcons, like, oh wow, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Not sure you're really getting a real slice of what American, NFL football really is with those two teams. But you know, uh, the heir apparent in Lawrence is with the Jaguars, and the Dolphins. Who knows? They might be almost kind of a little bit over 500, maybe, thinking about the playoffs a little bit by that point in the season. So,
Um, coming as you mentioned, it's something that was coming to mind. All these teams are East Coast teams. They're 6.5 hours away from London. That's a 6.5 hour flight. That flight from South Florida to Seattle is a 5.5 hour flight. That flight from New York to Seattle, just as um, in comparison, that flight from New York to Seattle is 5.5 hours, 5:15, 5.5 hours. So they're adding an hour onto the flight. You got a point there. Um, it would not work a team Jacksonville residing over there. I mean, you'd have to every team that went over there to play, they'd have to get a bye the next week because that's just too much travel. And I guess they can technically schedule that and make that work. However, um, I don't think that works with the schedule. What are your thoughts on that? But just looking at it, all these are East Coast teams, and they are having a 6.5 hour flight, and they'll probably get a bye. If we looked at the schedule, they'll probably get a bye after that game.
yeah, I think it would be tough, to navigate schedule wise, but I don't think anything that couldn't be overcome. I think they're, like you're saying, either giving the teams that have to travel that extra distance, and I believe that's what they do anyways, is give the teams that go over there a bye week, and immediately following that game. I think it's doable, and certainly if they were in a division that was closer to the East Coast, that had teams that were, within that 5 to 6 hour range that you're referring to, I think it's doable.
So look at this: the Dolphins who travel to play the Jaguars in London on the 17th, they don't get the bye, but on the 10th they travel to Tampa Bay, which is what's that, probably an hour flight, and then the next week Atlanta travels to Miami, which is an hour and a half flight. So they keep them close to home. That's just with the Dolphin schedule. Um, we looked at the Dolphin schedule and who else is going to Jets. Let's see what the Jets go. We looked at the Dolphins and so the Jets are playing the Falcons on the 10th, and they do. Okay, this is a little unfair. The the Jets do have a bye after that game. They play on the 10th. They play the Falcons on the 10th, and then they have a bye because they don't play until the 24th. They play the Patriots. Another short trip if they play the Patriots, which is they have a home game on the 3rd. They travel to London to play the Falcons on the 10th, and then they have a bye that next week because they don't play until the 24th. Um, and just for shits and grins, let's look at the Jaguar schedule. Yeah, they kind of why is the Jets the only one that gets a bye? That's kind of peculiar. What you think?
It's hard with 32 teams and make everything work out perfectly, and then you add a 17th game. I'm not surprised that there are some holes here and there, but for the most part, they try and keep it fair, I think.
So, so here you go. The on the 10th of October, the Jaguars have a home game against the Titans. They travel to London to play the Dolphins, and the Jaguars get a bye because they don't play again till Halloween, the 31st of. They play the Seahawks. Actually, they travel to Seattle. So now I think that's deserving of a bye because they travel to London on the 17th. Then they turn around and take that long flight to I've actually made that flight a couple times from Jacksonville to Seattle. That's a 5.5 hour flight. So that's very close to that same. They play in Seattle that following week on Halloween Day. So all right, the Jets is the only one that makes out the best on that particular deal. Yeah. So okay. That's our NFL topics for this week, man. We talked about our draft review already. Um, Clevon, let me get this going here, and we're gonna take a little break here. When we come back, man, we're gonna talk about Russell Westbrook. I want to get your feedback, man, on Russell and kind of what this season has been for him, and then we got Luka. We got some Luka news. So we're gonna talk about that on the backside. Let's take a little break here. All right, Clevon. Welcome back, fans, to the Voice of the Fans podcast. Here we are. We do this each and every Wednesday night, broadcasting live from Southern California. Got my man Clevon up in the great state of Washington. What's the weather like this week, big guy?
Not too bad, Cam. Mid 60s, low 70s.
And we got an overcast down here that is just spectacular, keeping us right at that 70. Today it was a 71 high. Couple clouds in the sky. Well, the clouds in the sky is keeping the temperature down, so I love it. It's been spectacular the last couple of weeks, but it's going to be hot enough soon enough down here. So we're enjoying this kind of overcast, if you will, for the time being. Clevon, been a topic of a lot of conversations over the last week or so as Russell Westbrook has been on a triple double barrage this season. The last 4 years, actually, right? Averaging a triple double. Um, First, let me let it be known right here, fans. You guys see what that is? Seattle Supersonics fan from day one. Remember the championship, so it's kind of painful that he was drafted by the Sonics, but never got to wear the Sonics uniform in game action. So that part is kind of painful for me. But considering I left Seattle in 1991, I continue to root for the OKC Thunder right up until the point where they traded him for Chris Paul. I jumped off the bandwagon at that point. And I remained a Russell Westbrook fan, but I just couldn't be a fan of the OKC Thunder once they traded him. It just didn't make no sense for me anymore. But Russell Westbrook, and I'm saying this to say I'm a big fan of Russell Westbrook. Watch every game, most every game, I should say, of his career, specifically at OKC. His venture to Houston, I was hopeful that it could work. Obviously, they had some irreconcilable differences that didn't allow things to flourish in Houston, him and Harden. And Clevon, you remember when they signed him when the Washington Wizards signed him. Not that I'm a fan of the head coach Scott Brooks at all, but when the Washington Wizards signed him, I said they're going to the playoffs. I wasn't thinking playing tournament, but I was expecting that 7th or 8th seed of the East Coast team. I expected playoff. You remember that, right?
I do.
So I'm saying all this to say that I've been a fan of Russell Westbrook. The triple doubles, I think, are very impressive. A lot of people over the years has wanted to kind of poo-poo the triple double and what it means to actual winning and what it means to actual his performance and production on the court. How can you poo-poo a triple double? Because that means you having your hands in a facet of every part of the basketball game, especially from a point guard position. You're rebounding, you're assisting, you're getting other people involved, you're getting points, and he's not getting. It's not the early Jason Kidd triple double. It's not 12 points, 11 assists, and 10 rebounds. He's pulling down 20 points, 24 rebounds, 20 assists. He's doing these big time. What do you say? The supersized triple doubles. What's your thoughts on Russell Westbrook? And then I got a question for you.
My thoughts are that Russell Westbrook is probably the most athletic point guard that's ever played basketball. His, accomplishments, his accolades, his statistics are phenomenal. I mean, he averaged a triple double for an entire season. He's been a league MVP. He has the most triple doubles in the history of the National Basketball Association. So definitely a lot can be said for his athleticism and his ability.
Now, you made it clear, you started off, he's the most athletic point guard in the game.
In the history of the NBA.
I mean, that kind of takes a shot at him in a sense, Clevon. Like,
how so?
You're saying you're the most athletic. You're not. You didn't say he's the best. You didn't say he's a winner. You didn't say he's the most cerebral point guard in NBA history. You went straight to athletic, like all he has is athletics to rely on. Like he doesn't have any of those other tangibles.
I didn't say that, Cam. You're putting words in my mouth.
No,
what I said is he's the most.
That's how I understood it. That's how I understood it. Now, I'm asking you to clarify. Is that? I mean, it sounds like you kind of taking some shots at him. Do I have this wrong?
Anyone that can average a triple double, Cam.
Well, we understand the stats. We understand the stats. We understand. We understand the stats. We get it. You went right to athleticism, right. And you didn't give him credit for being a winner. You didn't give him credit for being cerebral. You didn't give him credit for being getting his teammates involved. You didn't give him credit for being a good teammate. Is that to say?
Well, Cam,
as far as
winning is concerned,
yeah,
he's been to a Final Four in college.
Okay.
He's been to an NBA Finals in the pros. He's been to the Western Conference Finals. He's won an NBA MVP. So that in and of itself makes him a winner. I'm not going to say he's not a winner.
Okay. So this might be a little projection on my part. Huge fan of Russell Westbrook. A lot of people, Scotty Brooks, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Scotty Brooks put him at number two NBA point guard in NBA history. You didn't agree with that, if I remember correctly.
Well, I mean, Scotty Brooks is in that same, mindset that our fellow friends over at Hoops and Brews are. They said that a long time ago that with one championship, if he were to win one, he would be the second best point guard of all time. And I believe if I can, recant my argument to that is that for me, it starts with Magic, Oscar, Isaiah as the top point guards of all time. Stockton. So for me, I don't think that Russell Westbrook could ever be higher than 5, but that's just me.
Okay. Let me see. So I love Russell Westbrook. been a fan of him, and who can argue that he's not
Tremendous passion, Cam. Tremendous passion.
tremendous passion.
Love for the game.
I love the passion. I don't have to have a conversation with him about are you coming to play and give it your all tonight. That conversation does not have to be had with that.
Correct.
My concern and what I've noticed, and I guess I say since he left OKC, I kind of been a little bit more critical, looking at his game with a more critical eye. And what I've noticed is it doesn't make game-winning decisions all the time. And where he brings the passion, he brings the energy, he brings that competitive fire. At the end of games, whether he has a triple-double or not, it just doesn't show those game-winning qualities all the time. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, because of his athleticism, he is always a mismatch on the floor, and therefore he always thinks that he's the best option for taking the last shot or within the facilitating of the offense. It always starts with him. So therefore, that's why I think you're kind of alluding to he doesn't always make the best decision, because in his mind he's always the best decision because he has an opportunity to win his one-on-one matchup pretty much every time.
I'm okay with you winning your option, you winning your matchup, but inopportune threes, dribbling off your foot. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that to Russell.
Yeah, let's not nitpick him while he's making this historical run and resurrecting the Washington Wizards and pulling them all the way almost single-handedly back into the playoffs.
But this is what I expected.
At least to the play-in. I mean, you have to take the good with the bad, Cam. That's what a lot of times I find that about Russell Westbrook fans is that they don't want to take the good with the bad. They want to nitpick about the bad and really hype up the triple-doubles, but they don't want to take them both at the same time. You got to take them both. You got a triple-double machine that may not make the best decision all the time, and therefore may not win the ultimate title.
Oh my goodness! And that's
the good with the bad right there, Cam. That's what you got to do sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
And that would be track because I want him to win. I want him to be recognized. I want him to be recognized as in that top 3 category and make the true argument that Scott Brooks wants to put him in. I want him to be there. I just don't see it getting there. But let's get off of Russell. I love you, Russell. Congratulations on all that you're doing, man. Your game is tremendous. You should talk to media before game, pre-game. So there's a little personal thing there. But outside of that, I love what he brings. Love everything he brings to the court. Just be a little. Maybe that comes with age. Maybe a couple more years when the game slows down just a little bit more, he'll start thinking the game out a little bit better. So let's talk from one guy who you have in your top 5 point guard list. Where does LaMelo Ball? Where does he rank on your top point guard list? Because you said he's a rookie of the year and he sat out a month or what it was about 6 weeks, and here he comes. Did he miss a beat since you've seen him upon his return?
Do you mean in the league at present or all time? I don't understand the barometer you're trying to.
Yeah, the league at let's say the league at present. Come on, I don't expect you to say he's number 10 of all time.
Oh, like probably like 17, 18.
There's only like 32 teams in the league. You got him right there in the midpoint. You got him in middle
for right now. Yeah, come on. You got him in midpoint. This isn't a rookie season. And like you said, he's missed quite a few games. So, I mean, I said he was the best rookie in the league. I said nothing about point guard.
Okay. Well, I expect a little.
I'm not even sure he would start in the Western Conference at point guard. So, for any team.
Yeah, you got a point there.
And so there's at least 5 or 6 point guards in the Eastern Conference that he wouldn't start over. So, I think
what point guards would those be? That'd be obviously Russell. You have.
He wouldn't start over Russell. He wouldn't start over Trae Young. He wouldn't start over Kyrie Irving. I mean, I don't know if you want to consider.
Kyrie ain't starting point guard, number 1.
Okay, well, he wouldn't start over James Harden. Isn't that your Messiah over there?
He wouldn't start over James Harden. You're absolutely
Okay.
correct.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that's 4, 5 point guards. He probably
Michael,
starts over Kemba. I don't know. Does he start over Kemba?
oh yeah, I think he starts over Kemba.
Oh
I think
wow.
he's Mike.
Wow. Does he start over Drew Holiday?
Probably not.
Okay.
So
So
that's
we're
5
at
right there.
5, 6. Yeah.
Michael Brogdon probably doesn't start over Brogdon.
Okay.
So now we're at 7. Okay. All right. Well, welcome back, LaMelo. He's still doing his thing. So I got a question for you. Did you see Luka's ejection? Luka got ejected
I
for
did not see it. I did hear about it. And it seems like the league is, kind of trying to, warn him without warning him. Hey, man, you jibber jabber. You run your mouth a little bit too much out there on the court.
So you gotta. So the guy, I forget who it was. Oh no, it was Colin Sexton from the Cleveland Cavaliers, who another guy who LaMelo probably wouldn't start over.
Right.
But came up. Luka was in position to get a rebound. Colin Sexton came up from behind and went to kind of box him out, if you will. And then as soon as he touched him, Luka turned around with the, right in that groin area. And they ejected him because it was a flagrant 2 hostile act. Now my question, Clevon, Luka he's right on there with 15 technicals, right? He's right on he got 15 technicals. Next technical, he has to sit out the game because you get 16 technicals. You have to sit down. You get suspended, right? When you get the flagrant 2, I think that should be equal a technical foul, and then he should have to sit down in suspension. Now I'm a Luka fan. I'm not trying to set Luka down, but just for whomever, if you get the flagrant 2, the hostile acts, it seemed like it should be one should be a technical foul because it takes 2 technical fouls for you to get ejected, right? If you get 2 technical fouls in a game, you get ejected. So if you get ejected, that should equal at least 1 technical foul. Would you agree?
I would definitely agree with that.
And so he gets ejected, but no technical foul. I was like, I just don't know. I think the NBA is missing.
Playing around with the rules a little bit on the periphery there. Yeah, I think that definitely deserved at least 1.
Yeah, you should get. It takes two technicals for you to get ejected. So if you get ejected on 1 play, you're saying he actually committed 2 technicals. You get the foul, technical foul, and then the hostile act gets you 2, and then now you're out. One of those should be a technical, I would think. So I think they need to do some looking at the rules there. So now Clevon, here we are a week away, and you guys your Lakers has been kind of playing around, and your boy LeBron caught the Kawhi flu a couple weeks ago. Last week it was. Then they turn around and let AD, and they relied on Taylor Horton Tucker to pull him out against the Knicks. Now I don't know even what the score is now. What's the score? You got the game on over there? What's the Lakers doing?
No need to have the game on right now.
Is it a blowout? Is it a waxing? I don't even know.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, whatever happens, Cam. The Western Conference is what it is. The stars align how they will, and let the chips fall where they may. And
listen to you.
And that's just how the universe unfolds, Cam, in the Western Conference.
So it's 89 to 88. So this logic is what you guys are doing right here. However it happens, we don't even have to play AD. We don't have to play LeBron. However it happens, we'll deal with whatever comes our way. That's what your attitude is?
Yes.
You guys are a bunch of hoo. That's a bunch of hoo-ha. That's a bunch of hoo-ha. You guys are trying to. Are you trying to avoid the Clippers? Is that what's going on here?
No, absolutely not. Again, the Western Conference.
You're taking the 8th seed, and you're going to play your way into the play-in tournament. That's what it looks like. You're trying to play your way into the play-in tournament, and then now you're going to end up playing Phoenix at the number 8 spot, and then you're trying to avoid the Clippers. That's the way it appears. Where do I have this wrong?
Well, I think Utah is the number 1, so the 8th seed would play them. At present, the Los Angeles Lakers are number 7 seed. So if they win their first round, if they were in the play-in, and we don't know that they're in the play-in right now. Right now, it's still kind of unforeseen.
Well,
The
the play-in
universe
is 7
hasn't
through 10.
unfolded.
Yeah, the play-in is 7 through 10.
Okay, yeah. So again, the universe hasn't unfolded as it should just yet. We'll see how the chips fall. But if it's Los Angeles and Phoenix, then so be it.
So that's what you're hoping for, because you got beat up. You let AD go off for 40, and you kind of blew them out the other night. The inexperienced team. That's what you're hoping for, right?
I mean, the game without LeBron and Schroeder. I mean, I don't remember. I mean, I think they did kind of squeak by him, but at the same time, Lakers are trying to win every game, and if they do so, and some of those other teams in front of them that have the tiebreaker over them should happen and not play as well, then so be it, Cam. The future is unforeseen. We don't know what's going to happen. So the Western Conference will be what it will be.
Fans, you guys gotta hit this dude up, man. And he's coming with all this hoo-ha. This is hysterical. I can't understand where this sense of calm is coming from. It seems like you guys are very comfortable in just avoiding the Los Angeles Clippers. That's what it appears to me. You guys are just, that's how it appears to me. And you're trying to give
Nobody's
me
avoiding anyone, Cameron. The Western
Really?
Conference is very difficult, and this whole new format of the play-in it's been extremely exciting for the National Basketball Association. Every game's important. I mean, it's riveting. You're on the edge of your seat trying to figure out how these seedings are going to work out. But I can't predict it right now, and neither can you, Cam.
Well, what I can predict is the Los Angeles
Clippers
Clippers
are moving around, and they haven't stopped moving around yet. And
the
until
Los
all
Angeles
these
Clippers
teams
are
are
going to be number
done
3.
playing all of their games, we don't know what's going to happen here.
The Los Angeles Clippers are going to be number 3 going into the Western Conference. They're going to have a week off.
Are you sure it's not going to be the Nuggets?
They're going to have a week off.
Are you sure it's not going to be the Denver
ready for
Nuggets?
The playoffs? Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
You're pretty sure. Okay.
We'll talk to Ty Lue. Ty Lue said they're shooting for the number 3, so I have confidence in Ty Lue that they're going to get to number 3.
Well, good luck to that.
Yeah.
But if they don't, because it is a Western Conference and the Western Conference has a mind of its own, they might be in that 4 or 5 game. We don't know just yet.
Okay. Well, I mean, we taking on
the
all
Clippers
comers.
lost to New York Knicks.
They're taking on all comers.
Didn't the Clippers lose to the New York Knicks?
I mean, it was an early game. And so speaking of that,
so anything can happen.
It was
an
early
in the
game.
Western Conference.
Well, they're not scheduling any playoff games at 12:30 in the morning or 12:30 in the afternoon. They're not scheduling any games. And I mean, did you hear the clip I sent you?
I sure did. About they were kind of all out of sorts and just didn't have the rhythm and just were stuck in the mud. Yeah, well, hey man, out here in the Western Conference, I mean, that might get you a 4 seed instead of a 3 seed that you had before. So I mean, you might want to think about getting out of the mud and kind of coming together as a team and playing as a professional.
Well, I asked about that. I asked specifically. I said, "Well, playing in the mud, you just played in the mud. I mean, what brings that on? Did you not get ready for this?" Oh no, and my guy Kawhi is like, "Yo, look, dude, this is NBA basketball. This is NBA. Some nights you're not just gonna have it every single night or every single day as an afternoon as it is. So when you're stuck in the mud, you got to play around it. So Ty Lue, it was a funny thing. I don't know if you heard the what funny thing. Ty Lue, called me out. He said I jinxed him months ago for having this 12:30 game and them not performing well. You remember that?
I do.
So when I went to talk to him today, he's like, "Cam, don't say it. Don't mention it, Cam. Don't say it." So I didn't really say it. I had a different question in mind, but that's how when they called my name, he was like, "Yo, Cam, don't say it." But he knew exactly what I wanted to say, and so I turned around and said, "Okay, I'll sit on it. I'll ask Paul George a question." And Paul George says, "I don't know. Did you hear that? Did you hear that interview?" Paul George says, "Yeah, man, it's these morning games."
Yeah.
It's these morning games, man. Sometimes we just, we have trouble getting ready for these morning games. I think my dog is. I think he's just too honest, man. Sometimes for his own good. Paul George is opposite of Eddie Haskell. Eddie Haskell knows when to tell a lie. He knows when. No, Miss Steele. We weren't at the bar all night long. He dropped me off at 9:30 last night. And then I think we stopped at the library on the way, and then we left again because we wanted to go to the library get some books that we can read while we're studying at home. We weren't at the bar all night. Where Paul George says, no, we stayed at the bar till 2:30 in the morning, and we just got home late.
That recoup time, I just don't have as much of it as I'm used to, and it's hard to get going. It's hard to get going.
Paul, I mean, come on, Paul. You got. I just found that funny. Sometimes I think he's the opposite of Eddie Haskell, man. He just doesn't know when to tell, when to kind of bend the truth or just kind of. You don't have to be completely honest all the time, right? I appreciate the honesty, and that's why I make sure I tell him, hey, I appreciate your honesty here. But dude, sometimes there's some things you might not want to disclose. Would you agree with that?
I absolutely 100% agree with that because it's a negative connotation and it's a difficult look, right? The optics are what they are, man. And when you say what you're saying after a loss, which could quite possibly cost you that precious number 3 speed that you're looking for, yeah. Everyone doesn't need to know. Yeah,
I thought that was hysterical, and when he said that, man, I just trying to keep it. I tried to keep it together so I didn't laugh, in his face. But that's exactly what I was thinking. So we talked about. We're going to review these. We reviewed some of these awards already. We got a week left in the season, so we'll talk about the most prestigious awards kind of next week, as the week is as we're preparing for the playing game. That the Clippers won't be in the playing. The Clippers won't be in the playing game, so we won't have any. So we won't have any Clippers talk next week. Just fans, just so you know. But who do you have as most improved player this season, Clevon?
Julius Randle.
Easy, without question.
Without question.
Yeah, I'd agree with that as well. What about the Sixth Man of the Year this season? Sixth Man of the Year award.
I can't say as I know of any really overly impressive Sixth Man of the Year this year. Yeah.
I mean, I would say Marcus Morris, but the thing about it is he probably started as many games as he came off the bench. He's been Mr. Consistent for the Clippers this year, Marcus Morris. I mean, we know he has no problem telling you that he's a baller. He's ready to play at any time they tip the ball off, but his consistency has kind of been more than I expected this season. I'll give him if there was a Mr. Consistent award, I definitely give it to him. But Sixth Man of the Year, I can't think of anybody that kind of stands out over kind of his production.
No, I have no problems with giving it to him. Let a Clipper win it for the 4th consecutive year. Keep it rolling with that 6th.
Oh my goodness, listen to me guys. Now is this patronage over here. Defensive Player of the Year. Any objections? You have anybody other than Rudy Gobert?
Not really. I was trying to think of somebody that maybe he's doing some real serious lockdown, but I'm okay with Gobert.
And I mean, he's done well enough to have his team kind of positioned well in the playoffs. So hovering around that, I mean, I don't know that it's been wire to wire, but
hasn't been wire to wire. The Lakers were on top when they were healthy and playing their game. So
they're on top of what?
They were on top of the division. They were on top of the league. They were the best team in the league when they were healthy and playing their game.
I mean, the first.
So your question was, have the Utah Jazz led wire to wire? And the answer is no. And then the answer to that was because the Lakers were on top of the league when they were healthy and doing their thing.
Okay. I don't know how the Lakers get into the Defensive Player of the Year commentary. I just don't know how that works, man. They're in the playing tournament right now. I'm not sure that warrants any Defensive Player of the Year conversation from anybody in the purple and gold.
Top of the defending NBA champions. I mean, they're always somewhat in the conversation.
That was last year, man. Come on, it's a new year. It's a new day. COVID was last year. You know, a lot of people weren't really focused. A lot of people were concerned about their families, concerned about what's going on. You know, there was a lot of the George Floyd scenario was going on. A lot of people had their minds not totally on basketball, so they had to go play in this crazy bubble. They had to stick everybody in one facility, and so that championship last year kind of deserves an asterisk.
Okay,
That deserves an asterisk. So we really shouldn't be talking about that. And
that's fine. It's
that
fine.
2020 championship. I mean, they really should.
Completely fine that you got on record as saying as much. So
Yeah, yeah, we really shouldn't be having that conversation. So let's not bring that up again. How about that? Because I mean, I don't know that it's warranted, if you will. I think
okay,
you,
well,
I think you'd agree with me too.
no, not at all. But yeah, that's a topic of conversation for another time.
Oh, you don't agree you don't agree with that? You got an objection?
Asterisk. I think that's a little high. I think that's a little harsh. I mean, I think everybody had to do the same thing, didn't they? They
Yeah,
all
but
play in the same environment. I mean, it's not like the Lakers played in the bubble and everyone else was playing outside on the frozen tundra. I mean, what are you talking about?
I mean, again,
Everybody was doing the same thing.
everybody's heart and mind wasn't into it, so they were able to catch some people off guard. You know, catch some people thinking about their families back home. You know, catch some people just
So the
not
Lakers weren't doing any of that, or
where their minds weren't on basketball. That's all I'm saying.
okay. So the Lakers had the ability to have their mind more on basketball than the other players, and therefore there's an asterisk by their championship. I don't understand.
Yeah, something like that, something like
Okay,
that. But again,
sure. We'll go with
again,
that. Again, a topic of conversation for another time.
yeah, we'll have that conversation another time.
Sure.
Clevon, let's take a break here. When we come back, man, we're gonna do our growing ever popular this day or this week in history. We got some pretty interesting topics that we're gonna cover. Come back, we're gonna talk. We got baseball on the line. We got some boxing on the line. We got some Olympics that we're gonna talk about here in a little bit, Clevon. So let's take a little break here.
So are these true breaks, Cam, or not true breaks?
Well, you're live,
That's what I thought.
but on the podcast they would actually be cut. So I got the. You can't hear it now, but I got the music playing in the background, and I'm interested to hear it.
So do I have 90 seconds or I don't have 90 seconds?
Yeah, you got 90 seconds. Go ahead.
All right. So I'll be right back. All right.
Oh,
Wow.
look at this! Look at this guy. Did you just go change it to your euphoria gear? Is that what you doing over here?
No, I've had this on the whole time.
Oh, okay. Um, all right, perfect timing. Perfect timing. All right, fans. So, Clevon, as we do each and every week, man, we got This week in history, growing ever popular by the fans. May 12th, 1871. Segregated streetcars were integrated in Louisville, Kentucky, following a sit-in staged by a black teenager. So the youth was once again kind of making changes in America. Um, we have 5/12/1888. Slavery was abolished in Brazil, 1888. 5/10/1944. Smith versus Allwright excludes excluding blacks from primary voting is illegal. So that was established. Smith versus Allwright, excluding blacks from primary voting is deemed illegal in 1944. In 5/12/1970, Ernie Banks, historic Chicago Cub player, hit his 500th home run, 1970. 5/12/1982, the United States Football League was formed. You remember the USFL?
Loved it. Loved it.
Was formed in 1982. In 5/12/1985, the New York Knicks won the first NBA lottery. You remember that? The first NBA draft lottery, 1985.
The cold envelope.
The frozen envelope.
Which made it so that Patrick Ewing, the prodigal son, could return and save basketball in New York. It's the exact same thing that should have been done by Adam Silver 35 years later with a cat named Zion Williamson.
35 years later should happen again?
Should have happened again.
Come on, you can't give him.
Envelope.
Where would Julius Randle be had Zion Williamson went to?
Who cares? Zion would be in New York.
That was it, huh? Okay.
That was your chance.
Well, I don't think Silver. Well, maybe Silver at that time was sent to the freezer to go get the cold envelope before the draft, huh?
Quite possible. I mean, he was in the know when the Patrick thing went down, and he should have been in the know this time. I mean, come on, man. You just can't let a talent like that go to the New Orleans Pelicans. You already saw what happened when Anthony Davis went there. It just don't work.
Oh, look at you! Oh, you heated about that one.
It don't work. You know Zion should be in New York right now, man.
You heated about that one.
The league would be a better place. Silver had his chance, and he did try to do the the noble thing, but it wasn't the right thing.
Wow.
Right.
Maybe we can have a podcast on that whole thing itself, huh?
Okay, yeah, I'm down for sure.
So Clevon, you talking about historic players that played in the game and in the sport and things not working out for them. What about Albert Pujols, man? He comes to the Angels after his stint with the St. Louis Cardinals. Is probably the best player for 10 years, and after he spent 10 years with the Angels, they waived him in the middle of the season, no less. Well, at the start of the season. What do you think about the scenario with Albert Pujols?
Man, sometimes that's just how it goes down, Cam. When you sign those, those long 10-year contracts in baseball, it really doesn't give either side much flexibility. It almost never, ever works out. I cannot recall the last time a 10-year contract worked out. Miguel Cabrera, it didn't work out. Alex Rodriguez, it didn't work out. And these are some of the greatest players that have ever played the game. So, 10 years is a long time to commit to somebody, especially when they're, 30, 32 years old to do that. He was always, kind of chasing the ghost of Albert Pujols, the entire time he was with the Angels. Like, let's see that production that you put up in St. Louis that made you a baseball god. And just he did not bring that with him, and it's unfortunate. And he's such a great guy and such a ambassador for the game and such a gracious, good person that it was probably very difficult to do. They probably should have done it last year, maybe, or at least try to kind of work something out a little bit. But just because of who he is, they probably took a longer route than they should have, and ultimately it just came down to, hey man, you're just not that dude anymore, and better to have that conversation sooner than later before it really starts to hurt us as a team.
Well, what actually the word is what actually happened is they said they were going to play him, he hasn't been in the lineup, and he was told he was going to be in the lineup, and then he wasn't in the lineup, and then so he went off post game in the locker room and with the Joe Madden, like you start yelling at Joe Madden, like there's an issue, right? Like if you can't get along with that guy, like you can't get along with grandpops, like there's something wrong, right? so it just the next day after that,
snowballed from there.
yeah, they're just like, okay, man, well, this is how you're gonna be. We just can't have you around here. So that's kind of surprising. But nonetheless, I mean, he's still gonna be, what does baseball wait 5 years? Does
Yes, they
baseball
do.
wait 5? So he's gonna be in no first ballot, right? No question.
No question.
Um, okay. Logan Paul. Logan Paul takes Mayweather's hat. Did you see the video?
You know, I don't watch that kind of stuff, Cam. I heard about it. I heard he snatched out Floyd's hat off, and that's just all that's going to do is lead to some more punishment. That's all that's going to do.
Well, so it wasn't actually Paul. Mayweather said that he can take on both of the brothers in one day. He'll take them both on. So it was the other brother said, "Oh, you want to take us both on? You want to do 2 for 1?" And then he said, "Well, you got to call Al Heyman to make sure you can do that." He's like Floyd, obviously. that got under
It
his
doesn't
skin a
take too
little
kindly to being told that other people make decisions for him.
So
That has never taken kindly to that.
so that was the start of it right there. And then he's like, "Well, no, I make my own decisions. I don't have to talk to anybody else." And then he said, "Well, if you want to do 2 for 1, here I am. Let's do it." And then he says, "Blah blah blah," and snatch his hat. And I don't know if you've seen Floyd Mayweather's bodyguards. Floyd stands about 5'6". What is he? 140 at his peak, and his bodyguards are probably 6'6", 340. The few of them are. So Paul didn't get far once he snatched the hat off. He didn't get far, and then of course he took some lumps after that, right? So I don't know. You saw the pictures after that. It looked like he had already been in the fight with Floyd. So he probably don't actually want to do the fight on June 6th. But what's your thought? What's your thoughts on the whole scenario, man? Did it increase the buys, if you will?
It definitely increased the buys, man. It's an exhibition. It is what it is. That's what boxing's come to, unfortunately.
So we're talking about some actual boxing. Canelo. Did you see the Canelo fight over the weekend? Canelo
beat. I heard that he beat an underwhelming opponent, an inferior opponent, like he always does, because he doesn't fight anybody.
Well, it was an inferior.
Is that pretty much what happened?
It was an inferior opponent. It was a closer fight than many people I anticipated. Than many people anticipated. I actually had Canelo up 5-3 in. I had him up 5-3 going into the 9th round, but then he connected with the uppercut, left hand uppercut to the guy's orbital bone, and apparently shattered his orbital bone. And dude didn't come out of the. He didn't get up off the seat in the corner after the 8th round. He sat there, and his trainer called it, but we couldn't tell if he said I'm done or if the trainer just said he's done. What the deal was, but he didn't come out for the 9th round. So Canelo connected with the left hand. I believe it was the left hand to the orbital bone, and that was all she wrote.
Great fight. Sounds like it.
We got some issues, man, with the Tokyo Olympics. They're coming up here at the end of in the summertime, where Tokyo Olympics said no BLM apparel is permitted during the Olympics. What's your thoughts on that? And why are they targeting BLM specifically?
I can't speak for the entire Japanese government, but my assumption is that they don't want any political distractions other than what is going on. Trying to carry on the Olympics. I'm not saying that they're in the right for that. Certainly, censorship of something of that magnitude is somewhat uncalled for. And I know that some of their bigger athletes of Japanese descent, most notably Naomi Osaka, probably isn't real cool with that. So, why they made their decision. That's my assumption, is because they just didn't want the distraction. But that doesn't mean that the decision that they are making is correct or that I agree with it. But that would be my logic behind it.
And how do you expect this to play out? I mean, do you expect that there's going to be hundreds of athletes there from all over the world? And as we saw from um, this past summer of people speaking out, this Me Too movement, or not Me Too, and let me take that back. There's a BLM movement from the George Floyd incident. I mean, that hit in Germany, France, um, London. It hit all over the world. It just wasn't in to America. It wasn't limited to Minnesota. I mean, that was a worldwide phenomenon, right?
Well,
And
definitely, Cam.
do they
I mean,
do
it's
they think they're
definitely
going
a
to be able to censor?
calculated. It's definitely a calculated risk on their part, especially considering how fragile even holding the Olympics is really going to be. I mean, that would be like a best case scenario to actually even have one that's going to be participated highly and fully. But I mean, just imagine if black athletes just boycotted this, given their stance for it. I mean, what type of Olympics would they have? So you know it is what it is, and we'll see how the whole thing plays out. But right now, I mean, they're doing their best to try and pull this off, but I mean,
I
they
mean,
still have their challenges and their obstacles, and this doesn't help.
you went right to the worst case scenario. I mean, if all black athletes decided to boycott, and we're talking about black athletes from across the world, you went to the worst case scenario. Um, so, if black athletes decide we're wearing all black, are they going to be? Are they going to suspend them? Are they going to tell them they can't play? I mean, you don't pay them; they're not losing any money. They don't pay them. They don't pay them anything. So, I guess the prestige is kind of they're working out and the gold medal that they get. Um, how do you see this playing out, though?
We're in uncharted waters. I mean, only time will tell, and the impact of social media and kind of where we are as a society will be very interesting to see how the whole thing shakes.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. So there was a rule handed down in the state of Georgia. They partnered with 11 other states that says college players. Now we know there's the college player NCAA is going to allow college players to kind of make money off their likeness, right? That's going to be mandated, I think, in 2022. And the state of Georgia says, okay, that's fine. And these other states says, okay, that's fine, but you're going to have to pay 75% of those earnings back to the school. What do you think about this particular ruling? Can they enforce this? And is this? It seemed to have some type of issue with earning potential. I mean, they're still impacting the players' earnings now. So now I can earn it, but now you're going to take half of the way. I mean, why would I go to the University of Georgia? Why would I go to Georgia Tech? Why would I go to any other Georgia Southern instead of not going across the border to North Carolina or Florida or Alabama or what? Why would I go to the schools who aren't enforcing this type of law?
Yeah, Cameron, like you said, it's not half your earnings, it's three-quarters of your earnings. And I'm sure the rest of the schools in the Southeastern Conference and ACC are applauding that rule from Georgia, because it just means that no athlete of any stature will want to go there, because first and foremost, if they had any type of earning potential with regards to the use of their likeness, they would want to get as much money for the use of their likeness as they can. And starting out with 75% of it going to the university, when they don't have to, can't see why anyone would make that decision.
Yeah, I can't either. I can't understand how the school makes the decision. It seems like it would have some type of labor infringement. I mean, that 75% of my check is going to paying taxes. That seems to be some kind of labor infringement. If I don't know the legal term for it, but it seems like that would be that. Do you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, but again, they've been passing some weird stuff down there in Georgia ever since they lost those 2 seats. So they're definitely trying to reestablish control and order down there in the midst of chaos. So this is just one other way to let people know in the state of Georgia that hey, who's still really in control here.
Yeah, that's a good point there. Clevon, let's talk about Dak coming in ninth place in his trial, in his Olympic trial.
Referring to DK Metcalf, we don't call him Dak up here.
I apologize. DK Metcalf, yes, that guy.
Sure.
Let's talk about him coming in ninth place in his heat in the Olympic trials. What's your thoughts on that? And do everybody up there applaud him for even coming out and trying?
Absolutely applaud him for his effort. And I mean, you never know where you stand against the world's fastest men until you actually get out there and try. And, the fact that, he ran a 10.4, I mean, that is what it is, man. I mean, it's not, world class fast, but I'm sure he's still one of the 2 or 3 fastest people in the NFL. And I'm pretty sure you don't want to cover him on a go route. So, hey, he's not going to be on the Olympic team. That's unfortunate, but I mean, he's still going to put the fear of God in whatever corner is trying to cover him. So I think we'll be okay.
I mean, to his credit, he is probably he had 80 pounds on the winner of the event. He's what 6'4", 240 pounds, and the guy who won the race. The guy who actually won was more like 5'6", 160 pounds. So he had quite a size advantage on the winner of the event. So I guess for him competing, I mean, hell, I could have went in there and came in last place, Clevon, but I guess when he ran a 10.4, and kind of was in the race for at least 60 yards of that 100-yard dash.
60, 70 meters, yeah.
Yeah, I guess some kudos. He deserves some kudos for that.
Yeah, and you're familiar with him, and he's always kind of exceeding your expectations, if you will.
Well, fans, we come to that time again. I know I can't say I got negative feedback in it on this, but I know it's painful for you guys to deal with. But it's that time again, and we're gonna get this stopwatch going. Clevon, your 2 minutes of Major League Baseball talk is going now. Your time is ticking.
Okay, that's fine, Cam. And I know where you're trying to go with that. I know that you're constantly trying to rub it in, kind of what the Mariners are doing. And, unfortunately, they were up 4-1 in the 8th inning of last night's game against the world champion Los Angeles Dodgers. Kikuchi pitched a great game. Unfortunately, the bullpen let them down a little bit, and they weren't able to hang on to the victory, and they lost 6-4 last night. However, good news. The number 3 prospect in all of minor league baseball, Jerry Kalanick, is on his way up to the big team tomorrow. So we'll see what the future of the Mariners look like. In addition, their number 1 right-hand pitcher, Logan Gilbert, is coming up. I believe he's the number 45 or 46 prospect in all of minor league baseball. So we're about to see what the future looks like here pretty quickly. And I'm not ready to jump off the bandwagon of this team. I like the way they play. They have timely hits. They don't quit on it one another. And, I feel that they're building a foundation for the future. So, Cam and others, they don't really see the full picture. They're kind of looking at the minutia of it all, but really
wins and losses. We're just looking at wins and losses column.
So again, like I'm saying, like when everything is done and said and done, I think what you're going to see is a team that is coming together and, putting the pieces of a championship team.
How many years they've been putting the pieces together?
Right now, the Seattle Mariners have the longest playoff drought in all of North American sports.
Why are we even giving these guys some time? And let's stop this right now. Why are we even giving these guys some time? Did you say the longest drought in American sports?
North American sports.
That's hockey, baseball. I mean, that's the
football,
WNBA,
basketball, soccer.
I mean, come on, WNBA has been the Seattle Storm.
WNBA, yes, all of them.
Oh my goodness, that's atrocious. And so, so since you got your finger on the pulse, let's get away from the Mariners. Apparently, $1.5 billion is going to take to complete the stadium down there at the Coliseum. I call
You
it the
know,
Coliseum. I don't know what you guys call it up there.
I'm not a big key arena guy. I forgot the name of it now. It's some environmental something or other. I forgot the name of it. But yeah, I don't really keep track
It's the
of that now.
Coliseum. It's the Coliseum. Have you been down there? Have you seen the stadium? What's
No.
it look like? You don't even go down that way.
All I see is a big traffic headache waiting to happen, and I don't want to be a part of it, but it is what it is, and if that's how you get a hockey team, and that's how you potentially get an NBA basketball team, then it is what it is. But I prefer the stadium being a different location. I think we've discussed that before as well.
So does the light rail go down that way any closer? I mean, I know you have the monorail that only goes a mile and a half, and it kind of confuses people.
Light rail does not go anywhere near that new arena.
But the light rail goes down to Lake Union, doesn't it? Didn't the light rail go to Lake Union? I mean,
light rail goes through a tunnel that goes through the Washington Convention Center and then goes underground and goes to the University of Washington.
So there's no light right there by Daniels. There's no light rail down there.
No, that is the South Lake Union Transit, which is a different light rail system, but it is not the major light rail system.
So that doesn't connect to the light rail that goes all the way to the airport.
It does not.
So the closest one is over there by Denny's. Is near Denny, or is that the same?
That would be the closest one to where the stadium is.
That's like 2 miles away.
It's actually, I believe it's actually the convention center, because after the convention center, it's underground.
That's like 2 miles away. So, there's one that goes to the convention center. I mean, that's still.
So I believe the convention center is still one of the light rail stops before it's underground, and the next stop is the University of Washington.
Wait, hold on. I'm thinking the convention center is not Memorial Stadium. It's not Seattle, the old Seattle Center. That's not. It doesn't go there.
Convention center is by Nike Town. It's in the middle of the core of downtown Seattle.
That's 4 miles away.
Yes, it's not close.
Wow. So they need you on the project, project or city planning team, because they're not. Is there parking down there? Is there parking downtown?
Since the last time it was arena, all of the surface parking spaces have been taken by condominiums, anywhere from 200 to 800 units.
No, I think one of the things that said why the prices of the stadium went up is because they're building a. I don't know how the parking garage gets to $75 million, but somehow there's a $75 million parking garage going up somewhere around there.
Won't be enough.
It won't be enough. Well, they're still parking at wasn't there a Seattle Center Arena Playhouse or something like that?
Yeah, Cam, you're grasping at straws here, my friend. There's no parking.
So did they replace the Seattle Arena? Was it the Playhouse that was right there on Denny?
Whatever it was, I'm pretty sure it's not that anymore. I'm pretty sure it's a condo with lots of condo units in it, and there's no parking.
They call that Uptown. What do you think of Uptown, man? What do you think of that terminology for it? They call it Uptown. I don't know how is that Uptown? I'm not sure.
It's certainly not Uptown, but yeah. Whoever put this all together, it will be hilarious when it all plays itself out.
Okay. Well, hopefully we can. Your boy Sean Hansen still has that property on the other side of Safeco, which 4 square blocks where he wanted to build a stadium.
Yes.
Hopefully we can talk to him and kind of get something down over there, because
would love it.
That's actually where the stadium needs to be. But your Mariners were the ones who put a fly in the ointment there, saying it would cause traffic for their games. Well, guys,
hey, look, I can't speak to all the politics of Seattle stadiums, Cam. I mean, come on.
No, that was your Mariners. That was your Mariners. That was your Mariners who came out and said that.
Pride
Like
and ownership. I don't know what's going on right now, and I can't speak to all that.
they need to be packed up and
They
moved
were
to
probably
Portland.
foreshadowing this time when they were putting together a team like this that for the next 3 or 5
Boy.
years are going to contend for World Series titles, quite possibly.
Quite possibly. I like how you slipped that quite possibly in there because I was about to put that on the sticky note, right? I was
Hey,
about
it's real early. Like I said, they're just bringing up the
to,
number 3 prospect tomorrow. I mean, we have to see what he can do, and the pitcher, and they still have one of the top 50 prospects in AA. He's inching his way along as well. They have the rookie of the year from last year, 2 Gold Glovers. I mean, we'll see.
like I said, we gave them guys way too much talk already, man. So enough of the Miriam talk, man. No, just enough of it. Clevon, want to leave the fans with this quote here. Once again, fans, let me tell you guys, thank you guys for tuning in. Voice of the Fans podcast, man. Week 138. Your attendance is appreciated. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave some comments. Clevon, where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Clevy Wonder and Clevon Steele on Instagram.
You can find me at Voice of the Fans on Instagram. What's Good in Sport on Twitter. Thank you guys once again for your participation. I want to leave you guys with this quote, Clevon. If your dreams don't scare you, they are too small. That's from Richard Branson, Mr. Virgin Airlines. Once again, if your dreams don't scare you, they are too small. Richard Branson. Clevon, I want to thank you for your participation as always, man. Fans, I want to thank you guys for your participation. Please hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, leave a comment, tell a friend about the best podcast and the best unheard podcast in all of America. Clevon, we've been at this quite a while, man. Thank you for your time. Have a good week, man. We'll talk to you soon.
My pleasure, bro. We'll talk soon.